Hello student, welcome back to social class. Last class we already started a new lesson from a political science part, that is our constitution. In that we learned about whatever the problem it was faced by India, even after independence and also before independence. During that time, as a person who was taken leadership, and as even as a person he was came to be called as Iron Man. Yes, of course, it is none other Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. And along with it, we learned about one of the most important development it was came into be exist. It is none other as about the constitution. It was successfully formed in our country. And even though we learned about another most important thing, that is the Constituent Assembly, when it was taken into be conducted, and also who also become as a chairman, and also along with it how many people they taken a part also we learned. And even though as about a drafting committee, there also we learned about who was taken a chair or who became as a chairperson or a chairman of a drafting committee also we learned. And also even about the framing of constitution, they we learned about it is not happened all of a sudden. It was taken nearly 11 months, 18 days it was taken in order to complete its work. During these discussion, as about the many other laws, it was enacted by a British government, and along with it the British parliamentary system, and about the social directive policy of Ireland, and also American Bill of Rights it was studied there. And even though finally it was came into be approved on 26th November 1949, and afterwards it was came into be effected on 26th January 1950, and this day it was came to be called as a Republic Day, and even we are celebrating every year also. And even though we learned about, we move towards another most important thing, that is the preamble to the Constitution, how it was having a interrelated. As about our Indian Constitution, it was a combined in itself by using that as the best feature from other constitution of the world, and even though and afterwards while utilizing other constitution of the world, and it was a from or it was a framed its own preamble also. As about this preamble is there, it was containing there as a fundamental policies and about the fundamental ideas of the constitution. One, another one is it is the sum of principles, structures, values, and also the ideal of the constitution we can consider. And even though as about this preamble is there, it is an objective resolution. It was put forward by Jawaharlal Nehru and also even approved by our constitution, while giving an importance for a nature of a sovereign democratic republic of our country. And even though as about the political, economic, and also social justice want to give for everyone, through that was it was explained in our preamble. And even though preamble to the constitution is there, it is a meaningful one. Why? Because it was describing the political system of our constitution, and it is like a jewel of the constitution we can consider. And about one person, as about K.M. Munshi, he told that as this preamble is there, it is a political, for us to we learned in the last class. And even though we move towards the preamble, what it was having that word, I told you that you have to learn and by heart and get ready. So yes, of course, the preamble is there, it is none other than we the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India into sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to constitute India into and to secure to all its citizens we are learning. I'll write it on the board, and later afterwards I'll explain that the main part one by one here. Yes, this is about the preamble matter statement. We the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India, solemnly resolved to constitute India into sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens we learn. And in fact I told that as we were learning one by one matter regarding these. As about the what a sovereign it was telling here. India is a sovereign country, so why? Because it is not under the control of any other countries of the world here. It is having its own foreign policies, it is having its own non-aligned policies and also even it's having its own 5-year plans in order to gain their as internal and external autonomy here. So what is the meaning of a sovereign here means India is a sovereign country, it is not under the control of any other countries of the world. We are free now. So after 1947 we became a free here. Till then we are under the control of British. So here we are learning India is a sovereign country. Why? Because it was not under the control of any other countries of the world. Even it is having its own foreign policy. We learn that foreign policy. And even though it is having its own 5-year plans, 5-year plans it was having them, and even though it is having its own non-aligned policy. Why this all it was having this in order to gain an internal and external autonomy or a power or a relation here. So this is we can call it as it is a sovereign. Now what is that a socialist? India is a socialist country and also even its main aim and the goal is that to bring there as a social equality. Social equality and also welfare of all the citizens. Welfare of all the citizens of our country. That is the main aim and goal of India. That is because of that we can call it as it is a socialist country because it is having a main aim that is the social equality, bringing there as an equality among each other, and also welfare, bringing there as a development to all citizens of India. Next one is the India is a secular country. One thing you have to keep in your mind, children, secular means a religion matter it will become. Religion. Even though we are having many religions, but also as about one religion also it was not getting there as a national status here. Even we are having or not giving it as a national status, then also probably it was gaining there or it was offering here. If it is given means we can't think about the situation in India. So that's what India is a secular country. Why? Because we are having many religions and also even though as about not one religion also having there as a or status as a national status here. Every citizen of India, they are having a liberty to practice their own religion. Which one they require or which one they are having a wish to practice it, they can follow it also. For that purpose, we can see here as a religion harmony also we can see. Harmony means it is a friendly relationship we can consider. So in the matter of religion also we can see as a religion harmony in our country here. I hope you are understanding why it was came to be called as a secular country means regarding a religion matter. Hope you are understanding. Next one is as a democratic republic. As a securing the happiness for everyone is the main aim of a government. Everyone they should be lead their life in a proper way. They require that as a basic requirement and it should be read to a people is the main aim here. So securing a happiness to everyone that is the main aim of a government here. And happiness along with that some of the problem will be occurred. So if it is any problem occurred means it is the duty and responsibility of the judges and also court in order to sort out here. And even though as about our constitution, it was mainly the elected parliament we can consider here. And even about the sovereign power of the nation, it was vested in the elected parliament we can consider as a union legislature is called as a parliament. So here also we are learning that as the election are held every 5 years and also mainly based or mainly through the universal adult franchise. Those who attain the age of 18, they are having a right. They can be bring a happiness in order to select a good candidate here. Election matter is required here. So adult franchise, universal adult franchise as it was provided by our constitution, we can consider here. I hope you are understanding very well about this preamble. Now let's go towards the next topic, that is the salient features of our constitution. Salient features of our constitution. And here we are learning nearly 13 salient features of our constitution. First I will tell and later afterwards I will explain it one by one. First one is our constitution. It is a written and lengthy constitution, partly rigid and partly flexible, and a parliamentary system of government, and a federal system, and about which one, republican system, fundamental right, fundamental duties, directive principles of state policy, and independent and centralized judiciary system we are having, adult franchise, single citizenship, party system, bicameral legislature. Nearly 13 salient features we are learning now one by one. It is very important, children. So please note it down in your book and also listen carefully here. First one is that it is a written and lengthy constitution. I write this time is considered as it is a constitution. Written and lengthy constitution. Our constitution is that it is in a written form. Everything it was written in a written form, children. So here, as about the power and the functions of the organs of the government will be there. It is like three organs of the government. Sometimes you may ask this, you have to tell that as a executive, legislative, and also about the judiciary matter. So our constitution, it is there in a written form, and also even though as about the powers and the functions of the government, it was mainly based on three organs: executive, legislative, and the judiciary. These three are called as it is the organ of the government we can consider here. And even though as a part of our constitution, it was having a fundamental right, fundamental duties, and about the directive principles of a state policy, these all are there in a written form. Even in our constitution, it was containing there as a fundamental right, fundamental duties, and also directive principles of state policy. These three also we are learning briefly in the coming classes. So I written there as a short form. FR means that is a fundamental right, FD means that is a fundamental duties, and DPSP means directive principles of state policy. These also will be there in a written form, children. And even though as we are having there as a nearly 22 chapters and about the 8 schedules and about the 395 articles we are having at the beginning. In the beginning we are having this one chapter and as a schedule and also article. But later afterwards many amendment it was passed, and also later afterwards it was became there as or at present we are having it was increased to become as a 25 chapters, means a 3 extra, and also 12 schedules, means a 4 schedule expanded, and about 465 articles. we are having at present. So earlier this much was there, and even at present we are having 25 chapters, 12 schedule, and also 465 articles we are having. So these all will be there in a written form. So think about that as our constitution. It was written in a form, and also it was became as a lengthy in a form. Clear? I hope you are understanding about the first salient feature, that is a written and lengthy constitution. First of all, our constitution, it is in a written form. Written means writing form will be there here, and also it was its powers and functions. In the coming classes, you are learning about the powers and functions. Then you are learning about the three organs briefly there, as about executive, legislature, and also judiciary matter in a brief way, children. And along with that, fundamental right, fundamental duties, and also directive principles of state policy also it will be there in a written form. And these earlier it was there, later after many amendments passed, and also it was became as a lengthy constitution. So at present we are having this much chapter, schedule, and also articles. Now let's move towards the second one. It is a partly rigid and also partly flexible. Partly rigid and partly flexible. Our constitution, which was given or which can be as about amended easily. Our constitution will be there, no? It can be amended easily. So it was called as a flexible or simple constitution. Simple constitution. And even though our constitution, it was having many procedures for amendment, it is called as a rigid, or a complicated constitution. So I hope you are understanding. While seeing about our constitution, it looks like an easy, but while go for that, then we will be realizing that as it is having a complicated. That only they are telling that while seeing about the chapter 22 only, while seeing about article, that is suppose 65 will be there. It is more and more. We can't keep entire things in our mind. So everything it was written in a written form. So here they are telling that as our constitution, it was which was amended easily, which can be amended easily here. That we can call it as it is a flexible or a simple constitution. While saying it is a simple, but afterwards while saying about its procedures for amendment will be there, it is called as a rigid or a complicated constitution. As about our constitution, it is neither too rigid nor too flexible. We can consider means it is easy there once we have to go for it. Yes or no? So this is about the second one, that is a partly flexible and a partly rigid constitution. Now next the third one is the government. As about here we are learning as a union legislature or a central legislature, we can consider union legislature is called as parliament. Union legislature is called as parliament. And also even about our constitution, it was provided as a parliamentary system of government. Even though as about the sovereign power means we are not under the control of other country of the world, will learn this. As even though as about the sovereign power of the nation, it was less or it was vested in a elected parliament. Sovereign power state level. Whatever the problem or whatever the bill, it should be passed here as an executive or administration we can consider. Legislation means it is a law we can consider. So executive, it was provide or it was having the as a responsibility is to legislature, that is central matter, and also state matter. Here as about a cabinet will be the council of minister we can consider as a cabinet. They are having the power to look after this legislature. If it is once they lose or once they lost their confidence or they are having their billing or faith on that legislative matter, then these cabinet members, they have to go for a resignation we can consider. So I hope you are understanding what is that a parliament is. It is another union legislature is called as a parliament, and also even as about our constitution, it was providing as a parliamentary system of government, and even though as about our sovereign power of the nation, it was vested in a elected parliament we can consider. It is an elected matter, and even though elected parliament, even though as about one of the organ, it was having a responsibility to look after this one after another one it will become. So executive, it was having the responsibility to legislature, that a central and a state matter, and in that we can see there is a two house of commons or house of parliament we can consider, and even about cabinet or about councils of minister, they are having a power to look after these, and if it is they lost their confidence or about a faith or about a belief here means they have to go for a resignation here. This is about that as a parliamentary system of government. Now let's go for our next one. Republican system. Our constitution, it was declared as India is a republican country, and even as about the head of the republican country, they are elected indirectly by the citizen. India is a republican country we can consider. It was declared by constitution. The constitution, it was declared as India is a republican country. Why it was called here means as about the head of the constitution. Head of the constitutional state of government we can consider as about the head of the constitution are indirectly elected by the citizen. You are having a one doubt regarding this. Why it was given as an indirect? Because we are having not a direct or the election system here. Because we are having as a overpopulation. More population we are having. So all of a sudden we can't do in here. So that's what we are having as a indirect election here. So the head of the constitution, they are elected indirectly by the citizen here. So I hope you are understanding about the why it was came to be called as a republican here. Now for this purpose we can consider it as a reason, and even though as about the head of the as a president, he will be called as a constitutional head of the state, and he will be elected here. So please keep it in your mind. What is that a republican system here means? India is our constitution. It was declared as India is a republican country. Why it was called here means as the head of the constitution, they are elected indirectly by the citizen here, and in India we can see that as the president will be there. He is the head of the constitutional head of the state, and he will be elected here. So this is about the as a republican system. Now let's go for our next one, that is So why it was having this different languages we can see, race we can see, caste we can see, and even though geographical region, we can see here. So even about the administrative matter or about administrative work, it was taken by or it was shared by both central and state government. We can consider here as administrative work. It was shared by central and state government. Central and state government. So here we can see that as even though we are having a difference in various parts about the languages, culture, caste, region, everything, and then also we are having about administrative work. It was shared between the central government and also state government. And even though as about one of the most important thing, that is the Supreme Court. Supreme Court, it is the highest court of law we can consider. There as a people, they can be or about it will be or Supreme Court. It is final decision of everywhere. We can see if it is any problem, it will be there. They appeal here, and it will be go to a subordinate court and a high court, and then afterwards go for a Supreme Court. But finally, they will be get there as a decision in a Supreme Court. That is a proper decision they will get here. So if it is any problem, it was occurred in a central or state dispute, it will be solved by Supreme Court. It is the highest court of law. Then afterwards, the court will be there. Clear? So this is about that as a federal structures or federal system here. What is that federal system here means? India, our constitution, it was providing that as a federal system of government. Why? Because we are having a different languages, different castes, different races, and as even about the geographical region. And even though as about our administration work will be there, it was shared by both. That is the central government and also state government. And along with it, we can see there as how they are doing the work in a sincere way. There we can see about the Supreme Court. It was giving there as a bold decision here, and its decision will be that is a final decision we can consider. And the Supreme Court, it will be given there as a support for a dispute regarding a central and state government here or state matter here. So this is about that as a federal system here. Now let's go for a fundamental rights. This is the sixth one, children. Fundamental rights. For the meaning of fundamental right means the right that the constitution given to the people will be called as it is a fundamental right. Rights that constitution it was given to the people is called as fundamental right here. Here no law or no court or no government as it can be denied this what is the fundamental right here. Everyone they are having their own right. It is already passed here. So that's what no law or court or government they could not deny. They could not deny this a fundamental right. If it is anyone taken away that right. If anyone taken away that the fundamental right means what they can do, children? Yes, of course, they can be appealed. They can appeal in a Supreme Court or in a High Court. They can appeal in High Court and Supreme Court here. And these all rights are there. It is mentioned in the third part of Constitution. is right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, and cultural and educational right, and right to constitutional remedies. So these 6 along with the article briefly we are learning in our coming classes. After this we are learning about the fundamental rights and duties. Then you are learning again this one. So please keep it in your mind, learn here only, and later afterwards listen back to what it will be telling. Yes or no? So here nearly 6 fundamental rights are there. Right to equality, all are equal here. Right to freedom, we got a freedom here, we have to utilize it here. Third one is the right against exploitation. Whatever the problem will be there, we are having right that we can go against with that matter. And the fourth one is the right to freedom of religion. I told that as India is a secular country. So the fifth one is the cultural and educational right. We are having a right that we can follow any culture here as about whichever the culture it was followed by our ancestors, and that we can continue here. Nobody will be giving against this matter here. And about education, it is our right that we can get it here. So, and the last one is the right to constitutional remedies. As this one also we are learning briefly in the coming classes. So I hope you are understanding fundamental right. It is another one most important salient features of our constitution. It is none other. What is the meaning of right here means the right that the constitution it was given to the people. As a people they have to enjoy here means as a constitution it has to be given. So the right which has been given by the constitution to the people, it will be called as a fundamental right here. And here no law or no code or no government it can be denied as a fundamental right. They have to be supported here. And even though if anyone they were taken away that right, if it is we are having a freedom we can do any work, but if it is anyone they restricted here means we can also. That is why they told here if anyone taken away your fundamental right you can appeal a case in a High Court and a Supreme Court. And these all are the fundamental right. It was explained or it was mentioned in the third part of our constitution, and even at present earlier 7 were there, and at present we are having the 6 fundamental rights. It is none other right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, and cultural and educational right, and the right to constitutional remedies. And as the remaining 6 not 7, because 13 are the children here. 13 salient features we are learning here, and I covered here now 6, and the remaining 7, and also about the fundamental rights and the fundamental duties we are learning in the coming classes. Till then, take care. Thank you.